right, we're live. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another session in our leadership series, Gurus at NIC, where we bring industry veterans, thought leaders, change makers from around the globe to share the fantastic work they're doing and to inspire entrepreneurs to do the same. So today we're here at the National Incubation Center in beautiful green Islamabad, the award-winning co-working space here. And we have with us Zain Jeewanjee. Zain Jeewanjee is the founder of Go One Global, Jeewanjee, which was the first insurance aggregator in the world back in 1985, even before travel booking websites were available online. Zain is also the founder of multiple companies in the InsureTech space and other fields as well. So we're really excited to have him here with us today. Zain, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. A little embarrassed that I've kept a lot of people waiting.
And that's no problem. This will be available for people to. I'm sorry if you could keep the mic close up. This will be available for people to view. So you're now a part of the National Incubation Center. You'll be up there on the page. So Zain, you are personification of a serial entrepreneur. I mean, you started way back when you were 15, 16, when you did a fashion brand. Was it Shaft? Is that it?
Yes, Shaft Clothing.
Shaft Clothing. And you also did your first fashion show back then. Wow. What was that like?
Well, I'll tell you what. So my story is very funny and short.
Yeah.
It was 1971. I just graduated from Karachi Grammar School, and the economy of this country was about to change. With what today is known as Bangladesh for the younger generation was East Pakistan at that time, and that broke away. And if you were in shipping or textiles or anything, half your assets were just gone, and you would have no financials to support. So I was just graduating from grammar school. And I decided that I'm going to somehow support my parents at that time, 15 years. I had a Levi's jacket with me. That is की copy बनानी चाहिए. And I went and made a copy of that with a tailor. Another friend once said, long story short, we became a clothing manufacturing, first men's fashion designing clothes. In fact, the designer is Rizwan Beg.
Yeah.
Used to be a kid, used to come to us. He will tell you that I got inspired in fashion by Zain's boutique.
You kind of led the ready-made clothes trend, didn't you? Here in Pakistan?
We were the first, and we were the first catwalk show for men in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it started.
What an exciting time. And your great-grandfather built roads in Kenya.
He didn't build roads. He built a park in Kenya for Asians and colored and all Kenyans, because whites had parked. This was in 1903. But in 1865, when he migrated to Kenya, he made a deal with the British to lay railroads in Africa. And then as the Times of India wrote an article 3 years ago on Shurab Modi, the producer, saying his father was a train driver, worked for a gentleman by the name of A.M. Jeewanjee, who had 38,000 employees from India working in Kenya for him, laying railroads. So he became the Union Pacific guy of Africa, laying all railroad.
What a legacy.
This was in early 1900s. Yeah.
Long line of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, both sides, because my other side is the Tapal family, Amiji Waliji and Nuruddin Tapal. So both sides, both entrepreneurs. So genetically, I have entrenched, the blood was entrenched with entrepreneurship.
So what led you to insurance? How did that happen?
I was running my clothing store, which was pretty good. And then we were exporting to Marks and Spencer's in England and other places in America. Wranglers came into town. The Walianis brought them. And I think that was late 70s. In 79, I got married to my wife, Farzana. We had our first child born, Misbah, and she passed away because there was a recessive gene. And she passed away, then my daughter was born. In that process, I lost my mother, I lost my father. And then Ali was born in 83. And Ali, my third child. And we said, the doctors diagnosed that he's suffering from the same thing that my first child passed away with. So we flew him to San Francisco, California for treatment. It lasted 6 months. He passed away. I was left with about $120,000 in medical bills. In 83, you could have bought the Google campus with that money. And so I decided there was no product in the US to cover foreign nationals who come into the US. So we created the first insurance product in 1983, 85 that would cover foreign nationals. But luck would have it that Silicon Valley was going to explode with foreign companies coming in, opening up companies and employing people on H1 and not giving insurance to the spouses. And they couldn't buy anything because they wouldn't have a social security number, a number required for the regular insurance. And I had a 100 square feet office and people from Google, Facebook, all these workers from Israel, India, China, their spouses, we became a household name, and then rest is history.
And there's a reason why you became a household name. I mean, Jeewanjee, really back then, and even now, the insurance landscape is littered with loopholes and terminologies that are sometimes impossible to understand. And Jeewanjee comes in and it's a customer-led, employee-led service where you really made an impact. I mean, yeah, how did that feel, you know?
I should say that my son who runs that company now, Going Global and Jeewanjee, I'm just a name brand on it for the last 6 years. He's taken a different level of service, but I felt that when I was left with about $120,000 of bills, I'd call my insurance broker in 83, July or August. I said, what about these bills? He said, well, none of them are covered. I said, but I bought insurance from you. He said, well, that doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. And so we promised that if we build a company, that we will stand behind our product.
Right.
And I think every company that I've done thereafter has been based on make sure that, we all say it, we sing and dance it, get customers right and make sure that you treat the customer right. I think if you really live that theme, and there are some companies and people in this room who have run companies like that. When you live the theme of taking care, if you take this, I mean, look at the finish of an iPhone product, right? And if you look at what Steve Jobs built, everything's got to be perfection, deliverables. If you live that theme, success just comes automatically.
I mean, InsureTech is really coming up, and Pakistan specifically is seeing a lot of changes happening. I mean, this year we had over $300 million of investment coming into the startup ecosystem here. And, I mean, where's the opportunity here for startups, for founders in the InsureTech space?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm so excited about Pakistan. I mean, really, the way word Pakistan comes to your mouth. Now, if you take back about 15 to 18 years back, when you said Pakistan, you said Pakistan. Now, when you say Pakistan, you go Pakistan. It's a totally different. And by the way, 2 days ago, I was in Dubai watching historical India beaten by Pakistan. That was just incredible there.
Good job.
Great job. Great job, guys. But really, Pakistan is probably questionably where India would have been 20, 22 years ago, where Silicon Valley was 30 years ago. It's just exploding. You have youth in this country. When you have what percentages?
Youth bulge,
40,
70%?
130 million. Can you imagine? You cannot hold youth back. There's no way, I'm 66 years old and I'm slow and old and gray, but I'll tell you, there's no way you'll ever stop youth. So you can't stop him. If he wants to make this bottle, he'll say, isse better banani, achhi banani hai. Look at the market you have. The market of this country. It's incredible. Everyone that's under age 35, if you're not doing something extremely exciting in Pakistan, you've been given a gold magic wand advice. And you've got an uncorruptible leader that's running the country. So your road has become easier than it was 5 years or even 6 years ago, 7 years ago, right? So it's an incredible opportunity for everybody that's young in Pakistan to do anything he wants.
No doubt.
Anything he wants.
Yeah,
It's
and-
very exciting times for Pakistan.
It is.
Yeah.
And you're an idea man. I mean, you run multiple companies and I mean, one could say you come up with an idea, you go with it, you get it done. I mean, what would you say to would-be founders?
Yeah, don't do what I do, because if you're not focused in one thing, most people tell you, I'm ADD galore, it hasn't been diagnosed as yet, so something wrong with my brain. I'll look at anything, and the joke is when I go from here and I'm driving back, my daughter will call me from US and say, Dad, really tell me, how many deals did you make and how many companies did you create out of the idea?
Yeah.
And I really do. So, but I'm not, I'm a jack of all in some ways, but I stay in the profession of insurance.
No.
So I built the first technology company in insurance. I built the first online product in 1997. I built the first event insurance company in America. In fact, I got, I'll tell you a funny story. I get one of those Nigerian emails. You get the email and say, send us your bank account and I'm going to send you a whole ton of money. So I get that email and I delete it.
Yeah.
I get another one 2 days later, second reminder, I delete it again. Then I get a call from Tom Neary, who's the president of USLI, an insurance company in Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett owned company, says, Mr. Jeewanjee, we've sent you 2 emails and we didn't get any response. So I told him, I said, I thought they were junk. He said, why did you think they were junk? I said, well, the email read like that, Mr. Zainuddin Akbar Jeewanjee, which is my legal name on my passport. So I knew that somebody's pulled it out of a database, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but it wasn't. He said, my name is Tom Neary and Warren Buffett wants to meet you, to have dinner with you. We'll pay for the airfare. We'll pay for your hotel. If your busy schedule can find the time to meet Mr. Warren Buffett, delete, right? I mean, obviously he didn't, Warren Buffett's not going to send me a note saying, if your time isn't, and I went and met him, and 2-hour thing ended up being 4 hours, and what an incredible man he is. I'll tell you, it was because we created a company to do event insurance online in 2004, and we were doing about 37, 40 policies a week. To give you an example, to insure a wedding, a normal insurance broker in America at that time would be sell like maybe 1 policy in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
We were selling 30, 40 policies a week. Yeah. Mr. Buffett wanted to know, what the hell is he doing? How many producers is he? And we were just one online product.
One-day events, right?
Yeah, and this was 2001. I'll tell you, insurance right now, Pakistan is so well positioned to build InsureTech in a manner that just can be explosive, to be a provider for multiple insurance companies all over the world. Because they're really behind. Insurance companies are really about 50 to 100 years behind in technology. Very slow adapters. And their databases are so huge that they cannot really change rapidly. So there's an opportunity there. InsureTech, a huge opportunity right now.
Huge opportunity, guys. You hearing this? So, I mean, Jeewanjee is far from a startup, but you guys function like a startup. I mean, you call yourself a re-startup, I mean, how does that work and how do you keep your team motivated? What does that mean?
So I think leadership, leadership has got a lot to do with every company, and you got to lead from the top. And I said this to somebody a long time back, a few years back, I was talking at an event, and I said, do you know that Tim Cook was walking to Apple Computers and he was stopped at the gate on Sunday at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I asked him, I said, can you tell me why Tim Cook, that's got $300 billion sitting in cash, a company that has, he's the head of the company and he was stopped at the gate by security. Why? And the reason was Sunday, he wouldn't come in on Sundays normally, he comes in on Mondays. And the security people didn't recognize him, asked him security. But why would he need to come on a Sunday? Because he had a presentation to do on Monday. He wanted to make sure he looks through it. How many leaders, and I look at within ourselves, even come to the office before 10 o'clock in the morning? Would you come on a Sunday at 6 o'clock? So work ethics is critical to success. If the leader himself is not going to show that work ethics, you can't really, you will succeed, but you won't have that immense growth that you would want. So you must have, leadership must work hard, play straight, absolutely straight. Ethics are the fundamentals of growth of any company. And your product always do more, deliver more than you think you should. So if you're making this, spend more time. How can I make it better? How can I do it better in anything you do, insurance or InsureTech or any line of product you have? Just try and make it better. Deliver more than your expectation.
Fantastic. And startup founders, often in their initial years, when they're not really making anything, it's a difficult time. How does a startup founder, how does a team stay motivated during these difficult times? The light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, first of all, when you start on your dream, right, you have to envision it, believe in it, be consistently on it all the time, but be ready to pivot. So if you started making something, he went after the music industry, right? Really, Apple did. Think about it. At that morning that he got up, Sony dominated. There was a Walkman little thing that we used to carry. He wanted to take the world's largest company in the music industry. He was a computer guy. Didn't know anything about the music industry. And today he does. Today we've got, thousands of songs on this and this. So how did he do that? It's because he had a vision, a dream. He knew he could do it. Went and go and then build the right team under you. Get the best people you can. Always get the best people you can find. And how do you keep them motivated? You've got to be motivated. Your dreams got to be close to reality, and keep taking small wins all the time. All the time, look at what can I do to share a win with the team. Say, we did this, and keep going forward.
I read that in the early days of Jeewanjee, you would one-on-one with your team members to ensure that customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction crucially important, right?
Yeah, because you no matter what product you take out, there's three ways you'll sell with a ton of money and billboards and ads and marketing. Your best sales always is somebody says, "Yeah, Mike, how many people go to restaurants, never get paid for it, right? When you go to the restaurant, this was amazing food. That is your viral marketing is your best marketing always. So if your product is good, your services, and at any cost, I've always believed that at any cost, repair the customer. Even if he's wrong, he's still right. What does that mean? That means if I bought the shoe, didn't work, and Nordstrom has that. Nordstrom is a clothing store in America. There was a story that a lady walked in, there were a shoe and clothing store at that time. Somebody walked in with a car tire, said this tire's got bad. And he says, "We don't sell tires." Said, "No, my wife only buys from Nordstrom." She said she bought it here. Actually, the true story, they returned it. They returned a tire. They didn't even sell it because they didn't want to upset the customer.
Phenomenal. I love the way you think. Let's come back to you. Who was your best or is your best mentor? You or her?
It changes over time. I've got so many. My grandfather, even though I'd never had the pleasure of seeing him alive, is a mentor because I've read his books and inspirational man. He was Anguta Tek, which means he didn't know how to read or write. It was thumbprint, and went and made billions, right? Inspirational. Lot of people that are with integrity, honesty, all the time doing right. Steve Jobs, I think, may not be the best human in life in many capacities, but really inspirational in the business sense. My father and my mother who taught me giving. There's a book called Go Giver, and I suggest everybody should read it. It's the author is Bob Burg, and it's about giving. If you always enter into relationships, whether it be partnerships, friendship, marriage, with your kids, think about how can I give more in this relationship than receive, and you will always win. It's incredible. Whenever you go at giving first, and we are fortunate enough, at least in this room, I'm a Muslim. I think a good percent of you are Muslims. It's in our religion. Just give. Giving, I think, is the most motivational thing are people that are givers to me.
Phenomenal. Wonderful. I mean, I'm a spiritual guy myself, and there's a power out there. The power could be in us. How important is spirituality, kindness, honesty, integrity to running a business?
So I started reading Fajr early days in my life. I was the only kid in my school that used to read Fajr, and I started Fajr for totally wrong reasons. I should go to play squash and early in the morning, and there's this old man walking by, said namaz pacharo. I'm a Bori Muslim, so I didn't even want to go to a Sunni mosque. But out of respect of him, one day I just walked where I went Fajr, and I just got this incredible yoga exercise. I thought it was incredible that you would touch down your toes, early in the morning, stretch left and right, breathe calmly. But then I did a practice over time. I would sit down after I've done my prayers, and I would reflect back in my previous 24 hours. And I even do that today. And I would think of 3 things that have been given to me in the last 24 hours: time, money, and love. Like today, I'm getting all 3 in this. I'm getting time. I'm 15, 20 minutes late, which I normally never am. And no excuses. I'm to blame. Love, respect, and I'll get money because I'll invest in some company, or some company will come and merge some way and we'll make some money.
Right.
So tomorrow morning when I say my Fajr, I'll think back. So what happens when you do that? I'm full of gratitude. I get up in the morning, I'm all full of it. I'm so lucky. Zohr's here, you're here, people are here listening to me, my bullshit. I'm so lucky. Yeah. So all the things that happened wrong, like I was late here, my car driver couldn't find the place, my alarm clock was set 1 hour back. I'll forget all that. I'll just remember the positive thing. So the energy level that I have at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning is just all upbeat. So that keeps me, so spiritually, the other thing is, if you believe that there is something out there that governs rules and regulations, and I'll be treated fairly. So when you lose, and you'll always lose in life, you won't get something all the time. And by the way, I've never lost it because I've always learned. So every time you don't get something, it's a lesson. And Harvard, Yale, Cambridge, Oxford don't teach you that. They don't teach you how to fail. They teach you how to succeed. So when you fail, that lesson is worth billions of dollars. So I look back and say, hey, now I'll go forward. So I think spiritually, if you believe in somebody else governing your life, then you're smoother at operation. So let's say, God forbid, you do something wrong to me. I'll say it's part of life. It was meant to be. Let's go on. So it keeps your positiveness going on. That's what spirituality is.
Extremely inspiring, extremely inspiring. So, I mean, as a founder, what should your intention be? I mean, why should founders do what they do? Should they do it for the money, for the fame? Why are you doing what you're doing?
I think the gift and joy of winning is so huge. So my line is, and I say this to everybody, don't chase the cup, chase the finish line. Don't chase the cup. When you go after the money, the drive is another. When you go after the finish line, that's that objective of finishing that. Whatever you start. And there's a line that my 6-year-old grandson would repeat after me. He says, once a job begun, I don't know where I picked it up from some writer. Once a job begun, leave it not till it's done. No matter how big or small, you do it well or not at all. On that saying, my 6-year-old built the Bugatti of Lego, which is 4,200 pieces, meant for an 18-year-old. He finished it in 6 months by himself. Wow. Once the job begun, leave it not till it's done. No matter how big or small, you do it well or don't do it. So jo bhi kaam karo, sahi tarah karo, pura karo, aadha mat karo. And there's a word we use which is detrimental to us, and it's also a greatness. Jogar. So Jogar is our greatness. We figure it out. But what happens is we take shortcuts. That's also Jogar. Don't do that.
You don't get an iPhone with Jogar.
You don't get anything. So always give more. So if you told me, make this for me, fill karega, I'll make sure fill. Agar aadha hoga, main phir jaake leke aaunga. Or aadhe se zyada upar se bhara hoga, I don't care if I give you more. Don't give up on shortcuts. And everything you do in life, everything you do it to perfection. If it's not, even if the boss doesn't want it, even if the consumer doesn't demand it, give more to it. I tell you, that pleasure is worth more than anything else in life.
I am pumped right now. I'm ready. I mean, you spoke about your grandkid, and back in 2013, Zubair took over Jeewanjee, and but he started working for you when he was 14, and your daughter started working for you when she was 12. I mean, how does it feel being a boss to your kids, and how did you get them interested?
I think that's a Gujarati legacy kind of thing. We kind of tend businesses down. I felt, and please, this is just my personal, I don't want anybody to do this, you're right or wrong. I felt that if my kids worked at a McDonald's or at IBM or Google, they'd be scarred throughout. I thought if they worked under me, I would give them total autonomy, let them do whatever.
Yeah.
And all my three kids are now incredible entrepreneurs. My youngest one was 27. This event company that Warren Buffett invited me for dinner for, that company, of course, in COVID went completely down because there were no events in America at all or anywhere in the world. So I just thought I'd give it to my youngest son. Our peak in event insurance at the peak prior COVID, we were selling about 27 policies a week, which is a lot, by the way, for an online company. He last week sold 36 in a day, complete automation built in. So when you take younger people, they think faster, they work faster, and they have no walls and barriers.
Brilliant.
So I think that's I've been very fortunate. Both my kids started very early. My daughter has an interview somewhere in which she says the labor department finds out that arrest my dad for adding a child labor working there. And they're not getting paid.
Right?
She didn't get paid either.
But hey, that was invaluable.
In fact, my kids even today get paid less and treat worse because I want them to be stronger and better.
Brilliant, brilliant. But is there a trade-off to success? I mean, we're light beings having a human experience. I mean, we've got our jobs and businesses, but like you said, love and family, these things are crucially important. How do you find the middle way? You know?
There is no middle way. I haven't found it. Okay. I'm sure that other people, successful people have. I think there's a price to pay for entrepreneurs. If you're going to become an entrepreneur, be ready that your children, your wife, your kids will suffer in some form. But there'll be pleasures. I mean, I'll call my phone up 2 years ago, 17 Saturday, I called Ishan up, said, Zishan, let's go to London. Pakistan's playing India in Champions Trophy final. Let's fly down there. Now, not everybody can do that if you're working for Google, Cisco, or someplace, right? But yet, I can't be at his ball game that day because I'm going to be in Islamabad in a meeting. So there's this price you pay to your family, entrepreneurs way, if you're true, because entrepreneurship really is a passion. You've got to be totally into it. And you're working like 48 hours a day, right? So your family pays the price, at least mine over time they have. I mean, I haven't given them all the time that I would love to give.
Well, here at the NIC, we like to think we're entrepreneurs. Hey, but hey, let's get to some fun stuff. You know, I'm going to do a rapid fire round with you now.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to ask some questions in sequence, and you're going to give me your quickest answers. Right. So, how about a motivational line you remember almost every day? You know,
giving.
Yeah.
Just give. Bob Berg says, do one good for someone who can do nothing, Zig Ziglar. One thing for someone who can do nothing for you in return each day. Do one thing good for someone who can do nothing for you in return.
Fantastic. An inspiring lyric from a song. I know music.
Let it be. Chodo rene do. Chodo ye jagade rene do. I always let it be. No matter what happens, let it be. I could have been frustrated by being late here, not getting on time. Let it be. Just let it be. I tell everybody in Pakistan, younger people who come from little villages who are getting education, sing this song, Let It Be. Vocally, your accent aapka acha ho jayega. Har dafa, let it be, gana gao, aur usko and then listen to the words. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Live your life and let it be. Chodo. So you push me like this.
Yeah.
I've got to wonder कि इन्हें इतनी मेहनत की कि हाथ उठाया यहाँ तक आया फिर धक्का मारा तो चोट भी लगी तो मैं मुड़ के everything okay? Why did you do this? Instead of saying, "Acha, you push me now, let me push you." Let it be.
Let it be. Let it be. Hear that, guys? Just let it be. I hope you're all chanting that right now. All right. Question: tea or coffee? What do you prefer?
Tea.
Yeah. All right. That was quick. Best book for an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
There are a couple, but I'll say Go Giver.
Go Giver.
Bob Burke.
What
Read
about
that.
best book for life?
Yeah. And if you can't buy it, you can't get it, tell me, I'll gift it to you.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. I don't know if anyone's ever asked you this before. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yeah.
It changes over time.
Is it
Right now, Tomka guy, the Thai soup,
Ooh,
Tomka guy,
that's
chicken
brilliant.
coconut.
That's
Is,
brilliant.
I'll take that out any day.
Yeah, it changes from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we asked this pretty much all our gurus. What was your best mistake?
I've never had mistakes. They've all been lessons.
Yeah, hurdles.
But the best one, I would say, best mistake would be, I told I called this company up and I said, I want to make a deal with you that we put travel insurance as your first search. This is 1997, 98. Company wants $5,000. I agree, negotiate because I'm a Bodhi Gujarati, down to $1,500 a month. I tell Zoe Brangwala, my CEO then, I said, Zoe, I'm going to Pakistan, send them a check, come back. I see on a Google search that thing's not there. I call up Google, I say, how come my name's not there? We were exclusive for this word. And they said, we never got the check for $1,500. We, 4 months later, were paying 22 and we pay something like $100,000 a month for that deal that I'd made with Google in 96 to have exclusivity for that search word of travel insurance for 10 years.
Wow.
And we didn't send them a check. That's my biggest mistake.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's quite a mistake.
Yeah.
If you were 18 again, you would.
I would do the same. I've had no regrets in my life. I was working at the age of 18. I've not had a teenage life. I'm going to go meet my grammar school friends in Karachi. We're doing a get together after 60 years. And I'll tell you, 50 years, and I'll tell you, I don't have a childhood like most kids do, but I have no regrets. I've been able to do a lot for charitable organizations, philanthropy, not inspire, but teach young kids to do right stuff. I'm the luckiest man on planet Earth. And this from somebody who lost his mother, father, son, daughter in 28 months. And I was only 23 when I cleaning a gas station in America, starting my life. I still think I'm the luckiest man on planet Earth.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, what is growing up really? You know,
learn from your lessons that you taught. Learn from them, and don't be arrogant about it. Everyone has bigger problems and challenges than you. Everyone, no matter what stage you're in life, nobody gets a challenge that you can't resolve or solve within your capacity. I do believe that.
A founder is as good as
his ethics and morals.
You are afraid of
snakes and
Oh,
snakes.
man.
Don't get me
I'm
snakes
scared
in
of
this room.
Definitely.
Both.
Right.
That's a pun.
Yeah.
That's a pun.
I get it. I get it. Fantastic. Wonderful. Then, I noticed your website is actually a calendar. You go on his website and you can actually book some time with Zain, meetzain.com. Is it right? So how do you build your routine around that?
So very easy, right? Because what I do, I don't discriminate on my time, which means anybody can get hold of me.
Brilliant.
But how do you do that? Because then everybody will want all your time.
I'm booking a Fiverr.
Yeah. So what you do is, what I did, I used Calendly. Then I created a website called, I took a domain, meetzain.com, so that people easily enter. Go meetzain.com. When you go in there, I allocated, if a Clubhouse friend wants to meet me 1 hour a week, I keep for Clubhouse. 4 hours for entrepreneurship, 3 hours for philanthropy, 24 hours for family time, et cetera, right? When you put that, when you go in there, the calendar dictates. So then people come in and say, oh, I went in your calendar, I can't get anything for 3 months. I said, because it's open to anybody. I didn't have, anybody does that, they get the same calendar. And I believe that that's the way you manage your
I
time.
think that is brilliant. And that is very inspiring for me to see that. I mean, make time for everyone, right? I'm going to come to you for some wisdom.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, Zain, so many pearls of wisdom dropped today. I'm going to have to watch this one again just to reabsorb all of it. You know, our audience, for our audience, you can, Zain's very active on Clubhouse. I actually just recently downloaded it. It's available on Android now as well, which is great. I'm going to be tuning into some of your sessions, and you know, it's been really fantastic. Would you like to leave last words for our founders and our community?
Yeah, I think, you know, enjoy this ride of founders, enjoy the ride, don't chase the cup. And in that process, give as much as you can to people that work for you. When I hire people, my goal is when somebody comes and works for us, for our family of companies, my goal is to change his life in some form or fashion. So when he leaves us, or he or she, they go out in the world in a better shape and change. My current objective is to take 100,000 people in Pakistan to work remotely for companies in the US. That's my mission right now that we're on, and we're partnering with a couple of people in Pakistan. And I think it's doable. It's very doable. There could be 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 people in Pakistan, because Pakistan is just that exciting spot right now.
Yeah.
The only thing we've got to watch for, and lessons to all entrepreneurs, ethics and standards. Maintain your standards higher than anybody else. Don't compare yourself with usne ye kiya hai. Aap usse acha karoge, usse behtar karoge. Just do better than everybody else, and you'll never fail.
All right, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much,
Thanks a lot.
Zain. Really good having you today. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in to a session of Gurus at NIC. We'll see you for the next one. All right, over now.